so much for this opportunity to come and share and hang out with you for a few moments. I was looking for a brunch partner, and I'm so glad you allowed me to come and eat brunch with you, man.
Listen, like, subscribe, share. This is Finding Your Voice today, and we have one of the leading preachers in our city, and we're delighted to have him today. We'll be right back after this song.
Heart to heart, there is something that I care to share with you. And I know that it's the will of our Father that we totally trust.
The St. Timothy Baptist Church here in Cleveland, Ohio, Dr. Torbert, and we are so glad to have him in our studios in midst today. How you feel today, Doc?
Doc, I'm doing good, man. I'm feeling great. Did you hear about what happened outside just a second ago?
I was in an airplane trying to get here.
Really? Boy, they said it's a meteor.
Okay, well, we're going to leave it at that.
We're going to leave it at that,
Yes, sir. Tell us about your ministry background, when you sensed a call, who you told. Let's go through that whole.
How did it happen?
Yes, sir.
How did I know I was called?
Yeah.
Let's start there. Once again, thank you for allowing me to come and be here on the show. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. My ministerial journey started literally at the age of 5. At the age of 5, man, I believe and felt an audible, tangible voice of God calling me into the gospel ministry. I held it within, didn't share it with nobody except my mom. I later released it in the 4th grade to my mom and dad, and my mama kept me on tight wraps. She wouldn't let me get out of her sight for nothing in the world. I had a strict upbringing. My daddy made sure that I was in church. The only thing I could do was go to church, choir rehearsal, usher on the usher board, whatever they called at the church, I was supposed to be there.
Wow.
Then I went and announced it the day I graduated from high school. So this is 1992. I'll never forget. I graduated on a Thursday night. That next Monday, I went and sat with my pastor, the late Reverend Dr. Avery Aldrich in Flint, Michigan. And I talked to him, and he said, my wife always said you were called. He said, she saw it in you from a young time. He said, now I'm happy that you finally acknowledged it. So I sat on the sidelines for 2 years and I did my initial sermon. It was in 1994, March of 1994.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. And then I was ordained March of 1996. I'll never forget. I drove all day and all night from Nashville to Flint to be ordained.
Wow.
So that's my ministry journey. That's how I got called. That's how I accepted my calling. That's how I knew I was walking in the favor of God for a Christian ministry.
So you're roughly 17, 18 when you accept the call?
Man, you hit it right on the head if we're giving out ages. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Walk me through that. Your peers in school, what are they saying? Your family, your church family, what's the sense of when you're telling people that I feel an urgency?
So I did not tell too many people.
Okay.
I probably shared it with probably 1 or 2 friends. And the reason why I didn't was because I didn't want to have the backlash that Joseph had when he told his brothers. And so that story was always etched in the back of my mind. If you share this prominent information, how would others treat you? How would you be received? How would you be accepted? Will you have a normal childhood and life? So I never shared it with anybody except like a couple of my closest friends. And they held my secret near and dear. But when it was time for me to come out, they was like, yep, we knew it.
Okay.
That was you. Yeah.
So from 5 to 17, 18, you feel the urge. Tell me how your church family is accepting you during those years before the call.
Oh, I was always put up before the church. I was singing solos because back then I thought I was a crooner.
Oh, okay.
So I
So
was
you
singing.
sing? Do you
Oh
sing?
man, no, I don't.
Oh, okay.
But back then you couldn't. Oh man, I thought I was one of the whinings. Yeah. Oh man, I was. That was those were my childhood heroes. So I thought I was a whining. Growing up in the Flint area. Not too far from Motown.
Right. Yes,
and
sir.
was very heavily influenced by Commissioned, the Winans. So I thought I could sing. So when they gave me an opportunity to sing solos in the church, I went for broke, man. Grabbed the microphone, stepped out away from the crowd, that whole nine. But as time progressed, or as I grew older, the church started inviting me to be the spokesperson and things. They wanted me to do special announcements. They wanted me to hold or be the person that did the prayers. I even on youth day would teach Sunday school classes, and they would ask me to come back and teach again.
Wow.
Because I guess I did such a great job. So they always supported my call, and the church I attended, which was Foss Avenue Missionary Baptist Church in Flint, Michigan. At the time, we probably had 1,200 members.
Wow.
The weekly attendance was roughly between 8 to 1,100.
And that's not preacher math.
This is not preacher math. No. Back then, that's funny. It wasn't vestibule talk either. Yeah, it was, because we built a new sanctuary, I want to say 88, 89. We marched in. It was the second largest sanctuary in Genesee County, which is the county in which we resided. It was second to New Jerusalem Baptist Church, where the late Bishop Otis A. Floyd, one of the stalwarts and one of the
Founding fathers
of Full Gospel.
Yeah.
And he was the presiding prelate of the Free Spirited churches, Baptist churches, which is why Bishop as well as I know his name, Bishop, the founding father of
Morton.
Full Gospel, Bishop Morton. That's why he went to Bishop Floyd, because he had already established Free Spirit Baptist churches. So he had the largest sanctuary, and he was so instrumental in my ministry and in me coming up, that he would even, pour into me. And one of my best friends was his godson.
Wow.
So I was also connected to him on that level. So I was always pushed into ministry, and those that were around me saw it within me, and they wanted to push me out there as well. So
Okay.
yeah.
So you start preaching 18.
I announced my call.
Okay. So you preached 2 years later. That's right.
2 years later.
Wow.
Yeah.
So because most preachers, once they feel the urge to call, now pastors are putting them up within 3 months. So how are you feeling? You've accepted the call, and now you've had to wait 2 years. Where are you at mentally? Is there is your pastor encouraging you? We getting there? Yeah, tell us that, because typically now, preachers don't wait that long. They'll find some hole in the wall to go to,
Right.
or a storefront church that's going to give them an opportunity.
Yeah, you can't tell me what I can't do.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that type
yes,
of
sir.
thing.
Yes,
No, man, I grew up in a different era. I grew up with a different background. So when I announced my call to preach, my home pastor, Dr. Aldridge, he said, I want to announce it to the church immediately. I said, "Nah, Pastor, God is telling me to sit and wait and learn first, and then, be released into my call." So he said, "Okay." And I was at Alabama State during this time. So I went to Alabama State. I'm down there. And I was attending a church called Hutchinson Street Baptist Church. And there was this phenomenal preacher, the late Reverend Dr. G.W.C. Richardson, George Washington Carver Richardson. Oh my God. He introduced me to preaching. And I'll never forget what he said to me about me waiting. He said, and he had a voice of a God, he would say, Talbot, if you wait too long, you're gonna be like a chicken in an egg. If the chicklet don't come out at the right time, he'll suffocate and die
Wow.
from his own fluids.
Wow. Wow.
So he kind of pushed me to go back home and get started. And then he said, if he don't do it, I'm a licensure.
Wow.
Because you got to go preach, boy.
Wow.
And so I went back home and I preached March 1994. And when I came back, GWC Richardson Jr. put me over the youth and college ministry. And he poured into me. He tried to meet with me every other week or once a month to see where I was, to check, do a spiritual checkup on me, to pour into me. And I would go in his office sometime and I would see him sitting in his office with nothing but the Bible open. He had tons of books in his office, but he always was masterful with the word. He could paint a picture. He was the one that introduced me to preaching and made me want to be a scholar and a preacher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's where I was in that interim space. I didn't want to jump out too fast. But when GWC Richardson said, I'm gonna drown in my own fluids.
So those 2 years, nobody saying in the congregation, you ought to be preaching by now. You ought to be up by now.
Dr. Jeffries, they said everything that folk don't say.
Yeah.
They said, you got to get you a wife. You got to get you a preacher suit. You got you got to get a cufflink shirt. you can't wear no, because back then they had what they call oak tree. You can't have no oak tree suit.
Yeah,
You got to get you a real suit.
Yeah.
It was a Super 120. That's what you have to have. So I was entreated by the words of the congregant saying, if you're gonna be a preacher, then you gotta have the preacher costume. You gotta have the starter kit. But that wasn't my focus. My focus was I wanted to be a knowledgeable preacher.
Gotcha,
I wanted to be able to engage people with knowledge and teach them the word of God.
Okay.
And so that's where I was. I never did get rattled by what others said.
Good.
Yeah.
And thank you for helping some preacher out there that might be discouraged that they're not getting those opportunities, that they feel a call and the pastor's making them wait. Yeah, that's good. That's really good. It's really good. Let me move to this subject.
Take your time.
When does your pastoral career start? How does it start? What's that process like?
Oh my God. I knew I was called to pastor when I was called to preach. Now that was a trek and a journey. Jeffries, that was one of the most depressing, scariest, disappointing periods in my life. I started preaching 1994, ordained 96. I never started pastoring until 2007. 1 year, almost to the date, that my first wife died.
Okay.
That was a rough trek. So I'm in and out of jobs. I'm trying to take care of a family. I'm applying for churches. Nothing is coming through. I'm always the bridesmaid, never the bride in this church.
So you're finishing second?
I'm finishing third, second.
Yeah.
Second
One vote away.
Yeah, or I'm the lead. You're our guy. Just we got to see these other people, but you are the man. And then I fall off the face of the earth. And I'm like, man, what happened? What the world? Why am I not able to cross the threshold? Then I'm seeing all my buddies from seminary get churches, start churches. One of the guys who I admired and wanted to pattern my preaching and ministry style after, he leaves college in 97. We graduate. He goes back home to Houston. He's a youth young adult pastor. He leaves that church, starts his own church. And Gospel Today chronicles and says he has the second fastest growing church in Texas behind TD Jakes.
Wow.
My buddy is killing the game. And I'm like, well, I gotta be next. Nope, it never happens. It was so depressing because it made me question, was I really called? It made me question, do I really have what it takes? It made me question, am I really that person that God would want to serve this present age? I started to really have those doubts, because I'm seeing everybody else blowing up around me and I'm not having none of this success. And so I sat and waited patiently. And one of my buddies got called to a church in Dayton, never forget. And I came there, was hanging out with him. We all went to dinner and they asked me something. And I am a brainiac, is what they say. One of my friends say I'm heady. And so they asked me a question. We're at the dinner table and I say my answer. And they laughed at me. Everybody at the table laughed at me because of what I said. And I just looked at them and said, if you don't believe me, y'all can look it up yourselves. I never heard from any of my friends until the death of my wife. So this is approximately 2.5 years later. My wife dies in 2006, so 2004, 2006. In 2007, while I'm in my living room crying, playing the piano, I get a phone call from a church in Tullahoma, Tennessee.
Where is that at?
That's the same thing I asked. What in the world is this? And
It's
they
not
said,
Nashville. It's not Memphis. It's not Chattanooga.
no, it ain't
It's not
Atlanta.
Knoxville. It's not Knoxville. None of that.
It's
Yeah.
none of that.
Okay.
So I get this call to go to Tullahoma, Tennessee. Tullahoma is in between Nashville and Chattanooga on I-24. It is in whiskey country. My members are the infamous family, the Uncle Nearest Green family, where we've heard the story about the Uncle Nearest.
Right.
And many of my members work for Jack Daniels in the Jack Daniels distillery.
Lord help.
So, right. So I get called down there not knowing what's going on. And I'm like, okay, I'm dive in, all hands on deck, not realizing that I'm in the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, won't nobody see me? And so that troubled me because I was like, I'm out here in the middle of nowhere and I'm not gonna be able to make an impact in ministry like all my buddies who are in Houston, LA, Oakland, Dayton, Chicago, Atlanta, all my buddies in Nashville, some of my guys.
Everybody wants to be in Capernaum. And,
my goodness, man.
Nazareth.
I got buddies that's on the main stage at the National Baptist Convention. And here I am at a small little church in Tullahoma, Tennessee, and I can't even make it to the state Congress.
How long are you there?
I was there for 16 years. I did stay there for 16 years.
Okay. So what any growth, any expansion? It was
a lot. It was a lot. So in Little Tullahoma, Tennessee, where I was so far south that you couldn't hear nobody praying. Down there, God miraculously heard my cry. And in Tullahoma, God blessed me and gave me opportunities that the half had not been told. I did ghostwriting for some prominent individuals. I was able to sit on major platforms. I was invited to be on the main program for the National Baptist Congress in, I want to say 2012, 2014. I was on the main stage at our state conventions, state congresses. I worked and served in the state convention. I even served as a state Congress president, where I got a chance to sit on the National Congress board for a hot minute. God showed favor to a little boy nappy-headed boy from Flint, Michigan, that was down in pure obscurity, and God blessed me to have a little.
You're the only black church.
This is what I used to say, if I could say it. I hope you don't. I hope I don't mess up.
That's all right.
Get us canceled. But I used to say, I pastor the largest black church, Baptist church, black Baptist church in Tullahoma, Tennessee. I pastored the largest black Baptist church in Tullahoma, Tennessee. And in fact, it was the only Baptist church, black Baptist church in Tullahoma. So God has shown favor to me. But not only that, God has shown favor that when I arrived there after my predecessor, the church was approximately at 75 members. And within 18 months, we grew to like 300. And so we saw this tremendous growth, and it was time for us to build. So the second part of your question, was there any expansion? We built a whole new church, whole new wing, fellowship hall, state of the art at the time. Phenomenal, very beautiful. I wish I could have given you some of the pictures so that you can put it up. It was a marvel and a work of God in small little Tullahoma, Tennessee.
Wow.
It was tremendous.
That's encouraging, because I feel like there are pastors. You spoke to two things.
Okay.
There are pastors who feel like they won't be found, can't be found because of location. And then, the God who is in the city is also the God that's in the country too.
Yes, sir.
And
yes, sir.
So I think that's encouraging to hear about your faithfulness and how God really just blessed the work.
Let me interject something here. So when I was getting discouraged, because I'm down in what I used to call Podunk, Tennessee, that literally means I'm out in nowhere. I used to get discouraged until I heard the story about CAW, Caesar Clark. Caesar Clark, they asked him one time, Dr. Clark, what happened? How did you get on the circuit and become such a great, highly sought after preacher? He said, well, Dr. Clark had that low, slow drawl. Well, they found me being faithful. He said, whenever they asked for somebody, I was there.
Wow.
When they needed somebody, I was there. And so I want to say that my success is attributed to my faithfulness.
Yeah.
Since Caesar Clark said that, it inspired me that no matter what's going on, just be faithful. Even when you don't feel like being there, just be there, be faithful. There is this ministry that I believe we as preachers or in the church, we have not taught. And it needs to be taught, it needs to be studied. It literally needs to become as big as the prayer of Jabez. And it is called the ministry of nevertheless. If we can get to the place where we say, nevertheless, not my will, but thy will be done, I believe God can open doors for any ministering agent, any person that's looking to do something for God in this day and time.
All right. Well, listen, man, you're hearing it, all this great knowledge, wisdom from Dr. Torbert. We are so incredibly grateful to him. Again, he pastors St. Timothy Baptist Church here in Cleveland. We're going to a little music to give him a chance to get ready for the next segment, and we'll be right back. a little bit. All right, we are back with Dr. Tolbert. We are so grateful to God for all the wisdom and knowledge. I tell you, it's getting better and better every week. I love how these pastors are coming in and not just giving answers, but just really being transparent about where they started and where they are now. Want to switch to another subject for us today. That's kind of the title of the show, Finding Your Voice.
Wow.
In a world, in a society now that, particularly for preachers, singers, anybody in church is kind of mimicking what they see. Of course, we all know there are preacher heroes and our pastors that we, some things are just ingrained in us because, we've watched them. But finding your authentic self, I feel like, is a challenge now. So when and how did you find your voice?
Man, that's a great question. When and how?
Yes, sir.
Let's start with the when.
Okay.
I'm still discovering my
Wow.
voice. Number one, I hate my voice. But everybody else say they appreciate it or what have you. I even did some radio back in the day. So I get a lot of compliments on my voice, but I am still looking for my voice. I'm still searching for it. That's both in tone and texture and influx and the nuances of my voice, being a compelling speaker, using silence and the hush of the crowd in order to get my point across. I'm still looking for it. I'm still searching and finding for it. It is an ever growing process. Let me say it like that. When did I find it? I'm still looking for it. And how did I get the voice I have now? This is how I got it. I have 3 guys that were mentors to me when I was in seminary. One guy is, he gonna kill me. My friends are gonna kill me about this one. One guy was Terrence Johnson. He pastors Higher D in Houston, Texas.
Yes.
Terrence Johnson is the nephew to William Timothy Glenn. Terrence came to seminary with the ability to preach the horns off of Billy Goat. And I wanted that. And so I was praying and asking God, God, help me have that. He could start on high and preach the whole sermon with a lot of enthusiasm, vigor, a lot of power. He used his voice, his body. It was very physical type of sermon he preached. And I wanted that. So I prayed and asked God to help me be like that. And then on the opposite side, there was this other guy. I wanted to be like him so bad that he was doing revivals, and he'll tell the story. He was doing revivals. He was going all over the place preaching. He even tells the story, and the great Tolan Morgan tells it as well at one of his anniversaries. They're best friends. It was Dr. Brianna Mitchell out of Nashville. Oh my God. He could just stand there flat foot, argue the text, and would make you be so compelled to hear the rest of his sermon. And his sermon was so physical. I mean, the flailing of the hands, all the stuff that the professors tell us not to do.
Yeah.
He does it
Yeah.
and was effective at it. So much so that Tolan Morgan at his appreciation 2 years, or his birthday, I think it was his 50th birthday party, said when Brianna went to preach for him, he said he was one of the guys who single-handedly changed his ministry.
Wow.
Brianna Mitchell, I would do his homework. He would come in class and he'd have to catch a plane. And the professor we had was always late for class. And so I was always present, and I'm the nerd. So I was like, man, don't worry about it. I got you. So I'd do his homework, hand it in, and he'd come in and be like, what we got going on today? I'd be like, man, don't worry about it. You go do what you need to do. The professor comes in and say, where's Brianna's? I said, he had to catch a flight. He came in, he signed the sheet, because we were signing the sheet back in the day for attendance.
Yeah.
And he had gone about his way, and I'd make sure that he was good, man, because I wanted that right there. That was so, oh man, Brianna's and Terrence had it to me. And that's what I wanted. So much so that I can't divorce myself from it. And then I heard one man preach one sermon, and I've never forgotten his voice, the sermon, nor how he preached it. It was a very physical preaching style. He has since, because with age and wisdom, he's been able to divorce himself from the physicality of preaching. But if he gets a moment, he will turn it up again. The great Maurice Watson.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
man.
Absolutely.
Maurice Watson did it for me, man. I'll never forget, he preached a sermon entitled The Order of Breaking Bread. About the road to Emmaus.
Yeah.
How did they recognize that that was Jesus sitting at the table? It wasn't through the conversation. It wasn't by him standing. It wasn't what he had on, but it was how he handled the bread at the table. Man, when Maurice Watson preached that, it changed my whole life. Now, there were 3 other preachers that get honorable mentions. The late, great A. Lewis Patterson. His ability to use the words in the text grabbed me, and it engaged me. The great, still living legend, Dr. Robert Arthur Williams, R.A. Williams, in Los Angeles, California. He was the one that made me want to become a Greek scholar because he took the words, broke it down, took the different nuances. I'll never forget in chapel, R.A. Williams, we called him Raw. Raw gonna be here today. He preached the steps of a good man. And he took steps and broke it down into 4 different tenses. And I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to be that prolific of a preacher. Another honorable mention, and this is how I do my Bible studies, is from one of my best friends, my frat brother, my line brother, yeah. Although we crossed at different times, we started off together in Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated.
I knew you was gonna get it in there.
I got it in there. It was hard, but I made it. It took me about 30 minutes, but I got it in there. PhD scholar, Dr. K. Edwin Bryant, Bishop K. Edwin Bryant. He was Bishop of Administration for the Full Gospel Baptist Church Fellowship, I think recently, as up until about a year ago. Bishop K. Edwin Bryant used to do for Bishop Walker this institute, and he would teach the class, and the way he would teach the class was so profound. He would have the people eating out of his hand because it was so engaging and it was so comical, but it was so informative. And at the end, we would always end with like a shouting moment, like we would have church in a seminary setting. He was one of the ones that really, those were the guys that really like pushed me. And because I have to give tribute, especially March being Women History Month. Gina Stewart. I was introduced to Gina Stewart from Memphis, Tennessee in 1996. And my jaw dropped. I was like, because I came up in an era where women were not meant to be, they wasn't called.
Right.
She changed my mind. I went and researched and found where it says, great is the gospel and great are the women who proclaim it, out of Psalm 68:11. She was the one that changed my mind. And she was the one that made me stop saying if God can speak through a donkey, he can speak to a woman, because that's an insult.
Right.
I mean, Gina Stewart did it for me. Not only Gina Stewart, but there were several others who just really, Claudette Copeland, Cynthia Hale, These people I was entreated to early on in my ministry, and their command and their study, how they use the commentary to make it relative. That impacted my preaching, and it's helped me find my voice. Now, to get back to when I had done some studies with the great Dr. Martha Simmons, and she coached me on preaching,
Yes.
and trying to find my voice. And she is a stickler for cadence.
Right.
She is a stickler for structure. So that also has been one of the things that I'm working on every Sunday.
Yeah.
Every Wednesday is cadence and structure.
Yeah.
So much so that I get bogged down in studies and get intimidated with structure and cadence. Structure. She was on me so bad one time. She said, look, Torbert. She said, I don't know where you been, you need to get you some structure. Have you ever heard Mississippi Mitchell? You just need to listen to him and see what he does, because you need structure and cadence.
I think, well, first of all, you have talked to us about a wide range of preachers that do different things well, when now for a lot of our younger preachers, they just want to find a 30-second hoop close, but really cannot appreciate the structure, the work to get to the crescendo. And I appreciate that you shared a plethora of different, because I think, even now, even for me, I have pastors that I'm accountable to, that I talk to about pastor stuff, but then I also have preachers that, again, being vulnerable enough to say, man, help me with this text. More eyes on it. And I think those things help us to become better and even challenge our preaching.
Doc, this is one of the things that I heard, but now I'm discerning. And it took me 30 years in preaching to discern what I had heard. This is what I heard. Good meat makes its own gravy. Now, I heard that, but I didn't know what it meant. Now I know what it means. It means that a good piece of meat or a good sermon is not a sermon that focuses on the hoop, the close, the antiphony or the call and response, or even the art of intonation.
Right.
For those who are intellectual gurus that don't want to call it hooping.
Right.
Whatever it may be, that's not what gets you your gravy. What I'm learning now is what gets you your gravy is, have you started the sermon with a purpose and a point? Once you make that purpose and point, what's the relevant question? Why is everybody sitting in that room wanting to hear you? What is it? What issue in humanity's life or in humanity's cycle are you about to answer? And then after you do that, then either if it's inductive, how are we going to get to it, or deductive, how are we going to arrive at it? What is your approach to answering that life's question?
Wow.
Because people are hungry, they're sick, they're hurting, they're dying. We finally are starting to talk about mental health and mental health in the church, and especially in the Black church. We got to answer these questions. And so a good piece of meat making its own gravy is not about the art of intonation now. It's more about answering the relevant question that people come to the pews with, those hidden, targeted questions that they come seeking an answer for. It's relevant preaching.
Yeah, and the fact that they come back Sunday after Sunday, because I think after you've preached so long, and then when you have very few opportunities to be preached to, it doesn't matter what kind of preaching it is, but to sit there and to actually listen and engage in that, I just find it mesmerizing that people will come back next Sunday and the following Sunday and the following Sunday and the following Sunday. But I think it's what you're saying, that there is a question that needs to be answered.
This is what I liken it to or make it akin to. Shonda Rhimes has done an awesome job with Grey's Anatomy, I believe, and with
How to Get Away with Murder.
And
Scandal.
Scandal.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, she was able to get you on the edge of your
They
seat.
think preachers watch those shows. You know?
Well, they don't. They don't. I just read it in a book or a magazine. But she's able to get you on the edge of your seat, get you to understand a point that's happening in that show, give you some other noise around it, and then close it out and make you say, I got to come back next week. So much so that Scandal had watch parties.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, watch parties.
Yeah.
She was able to do that. That is that's why people come to church every week. It's because of the scandals in their life, and they want a resolution, and they need it within 28 to
Well, it depends who you are.
42 minutes.
Depends who you are. Yeah, it depends who you are.
Yeah, no longer than an hour and 15. But they wanted it 22 to
27.
47 minutes. Resolve this tension in my life. Resolve it. So right now we're in a political fallout. Resolve that for me. We are in an oil crisis. Resolve that for me. We're in a high crime, violent society. Resolve this for me. What does God say about my now? What does God say about family issues?
Yeah.
And this lends to us some seriously interesting preaching, and we become living epistles to take the words off the pages, engage them, and give people meat so that they can survive. Then when you give them that good piece of meat, it's got to be cooked. It's got to be cooked well.
Medium well.
No, it got to be cooked well. Medium well in the pulpit is.
I was talking about another.
Yeah, right. All right. Now, if it's a Chateaubriand, medium well. But that meat in the pulpit, it's got to be well. It's got to be well and seasoned good, so that when people get it, they can run with it and not faint. Because that is what people are looking for. That's what they need. Okay. Yeah.
I want to switch things to another subject. You've been now the pastor of St. Timothy for how long?
2.5 years. Wow.
Yeah, we met at the same hotel.
We sure did. Yeah, I walked in and you was like, I'm Dr. Jeffries.
No, I did not. We both looking for places.
Yeah. That's what we were, yeah. I'm Dr. Jeffries.
And in these 2.5 years, you've done incredible. Again, I encourage you out there to go on Facebook to see the incredible things that Dr. Tobert and the St. Timothy Church is doing.
Wow.
But one of the things that I'm excited about is you are the moderator now over the Progressive Association. Talk to us about now you're in this position, and what's your hope? What does somebody might be listening, don't even know what association work is, and your passion, and what's inspiring you and how you want to get there, and all. Just share with us.
So let me first say this: Pastor Fred Knuckles was the immediate past moderator for Progressive Baptist Association, and he's found favor in me along with the people, and they voted overwhelmingly and made me the moderator. I was shocked, and I was like, well, I guess I need to get to work, because the voice of the Lord is spoken through the people. And when I got to work, I said, God, I can't do this by myself. Number one, I'm not smart enough. Number two, I don't have the tools and the giftedness to do it. And number three, I stutter when I talk. And so God said, go up the street on Kinsman and find a guy by the name of Darius Jeffries. There I will send him with you, and he shall be thy mouthpiece, and he shall hold the staff. So when I became moderator, I immediately looked to you to be my partner in ministry.
Yeah, I just thought you was calling because you needed a check or something. I didn't. Yeah, like we'll support the work. And
No.
yeah.
No, I needed more than a
that call
check.
was coming.
No, I needed somebody that was smarter, more brilliant, more in touch than I am. Because I told you, I'm a nerd. So all I know is stuff in the books. And so God graciously gifted me with you and our leadership. And so we've been able to walk together with a 5-point plan. And the 5-point plan is simply this: to bring churches together, to give the voice to the voiceless, to be able to have resources to pastors, and then fourthly, to churches. And then lastly, for us to engage in communal worship in such a way that we change and evolve the way that church is looked at. That is the 5-point plan. Just real cut and dry. We want to give voice to the voiceless. That means that there are some community advocacy programs and some engagements that we need to be a part of to be able to let people know that God is still alive. God is still with you. God is Emmanuel, and he cares and wants to see you succeed, thrive, and be your best. And so it is that end that we come together as a group of churches doing what one church cannot do, no matter what the size or the budget is. We come together so that we can make happen what needs to happen and to provide and lend resources so that other churches can serve their community, or do as the old hymn says, serve this present age, and do it with excellence and success. So that's what we're doing, and that's where we are. And I'm excited about what is about to come down the pike with the Progressive District Association. Currently, we're sitting at 25, 27 churches, looking to continue to grow. I believe out of the 800 churches that are in Cleveland area, different denominations, we're looking to add from not only Baptists, but we can be ecumenical in our dealings, because if we have, as the great movie said, if we can do it with one voice, one sound, we can do great things.
Take 30 seconds and look into the camera and make an appeal to pastor, church, to get to, at least get connected, come check it out, have conversation. Do that for us. 30.
Man, it'd be my pleasure.
30
seconds. All right, counting now. To any pastor, any church, and to any ministry leader or anybody that's looking to serve God on a greater plane, I extend to you the invitation to come and just sit and talk with me. You can reach me at St. Timothy Missionary Baptist Church. My telephone number is 216-391-0064. I would love to sit and talk with you and tell you that God has gifted you with every gift and calling that you need, and they're irrevocable gifts. So whatever God has placed in your heart, you can do it. It's for this age. Go and be successful.
Man, that was great. I'm ready to come in. I'm ready to be a part. You sold that well. But I'm not saying that he sold it well just to say that, but his heart is for ministry and the body of Christ. So again, maybe you have not been a part of association work for a while, fell out, whatever be the case, or you just got frustrated. This is a fresh voice for the times in which we live in. And I believe his vision is going to grow leaps and bounds because he believes in God and he believes in the work that God has called him to do. All right, we're going to music, and we don't have much time left, but we're going to music, and we'll be right back.
I won't turn back. But for the rest of my life, can everybody just put your hands together like this? Everybody do it together. Come on, y'all, sing for. I will not stray from his love. will serve him, yeah, yeah. Forever. Oh, yeah, yeah. Come on, y'all. Sing I will not stray.
And then that other song is the song to close us out. So briefly, we're just going to talk about, like, because we only got like 4 or 5 minutes, briefly, what is your hope for the church and the preacher? What's your hope for the church and the preacher? 2 minutes, and then I'm going to ask some fun facts. No, almost there. Told you, I mean, I just kind of guide. Yeah, but you talking. But every interview has been.
You might get everybody
We do not understand.
Oh, that purple. You want to be over there? Huh?
No,
The way may not be clear. God knows, and yes, He has a plan.
We're ready. We're ready. All right, we're back with Dr. Tolbert. We don't have much time left, but what is your hope for the church and preaching?
Let me say this real fast. Thank you, Dr. Jeffries, for allowing me to come and share. What's my hope for the church and preaching? Let me start with preaching first. My hope is that we will have gospel preachers that will rightly divide the word of God. I love philosophy. I love the interjection of the different nuances and other philosophical thoughts, but I want to see us become more equipped to rightly divide the word of God, to put our knife in the Bible and crack open the word and make it live. And for the church, I want to see the church continue to grow and be impactful. And I believe that the church needs to come and be united. From what we just experienced this past weekend regarding the debacle of Target, whether or not if Target is on and off, and then the words that was said about the preacher who made the declaration even after his apology.
Right.
I think it is it's blind. I think it's deaf. It's not taking the correct temperature of what's going on. I want to see the church come together and stop killing its hurt and its wounded, because we're all wounded soldiers in the battle, in the army of the Lord, as Noah says in his book, Wounded Healer. We're all wounded, but I believe that if we can come together, the God we serve will be able to heal those wounds.
Amen.
Yeah.
All right, we'll close out with this. Your favorite color?
Purple.
Well,
Earth tones.
I understand.
Yeah.
Dog or cat?
Dog.
All right. Bow, wow, wow.
It just keeps popping up. I didn't even
think of
I
that
didn't
one.
even catch it. No,
They probably didn't catch that either, but that's all right. You want
will.
to hold it up for us?
Huh?
You want?
I'll just do this.
Okay, that's good. That's sufficient enough.
That's
sufficient enough. Favorite sport?
Football.
And if you could describe yourself in 3 words, I know that's hard.
No, it's not. Comical, loving, loyal.
Okay. All right. Well, you've heard from Dr. Tolbert today, the proud, eminent pastor of the St. Timothy Baptist Church here in Cleveland, Ohio. Thank you, Doc, for coming on. And again, you've heard how to reach out to him. We want you to be a part of this great association. Great preacher, great personality, great friend. You want to be connected to what God is doing. Don't miss this move and this shift that God is doing in and through his life. Until next time, this is Finding Your Voice with Pastor Darius J. Jeffries. Grace and peace be yours.
But for the rest of my life, can everybody just put your hands together like this? Everybody do it together. Come on, y'all, sing for. I will not stray from his love.